think the most difficult part is knowing that the parents have good temperament with their child, but they're just exhausted, because most of the children that we see are medically fragile.
Yes.
Or difficult all around.
Yeah.
Just with sleep-wake cycles and
Mm-hmm.
all that. So it can be a challenging discussion if you don't attend to acknowledge the other challenges that the parents are having to deal with between medical appointments and
and I would agree with that. I mean, especially your parents, because they have so many other stressors and things in their life. Yeah. So any way we can, ease that by, trying to connect them with resources. It's still going to be challenging for them because the nature of, parenting a child, with disabilities. They're going to have multiple providers and appointments and all of that, and it sometimes becomes the central focus of everything for them. So, just trying to...
So in a sense, their own temperament is being very challenged.
Yeah.
Above and beyond other
Yeah.
behaviors of the child.
Yeah. So you're right, being sensitive to that. Okay. Now we're going to turn to parenting styles and some research on parenting styles, right? And I guess first want to start off that even though there's been research on this, I think above and beyond, you may think of somebody who doesn't quite fit in to any of these categories necessarily. So again, it's just research and there's been some identified categories, but it doesn't mean that it's, the entire truth. There's never any that fall outside of this. But this is largely taken from research that's been around for some time. I'm trying to remember. This was Baumrind. Baumrind is her name, and it was a large pool of parents, and this is probably one of the most well-known studies on parenting styles that I think helped establish it as a good point of research, and people have just been actually building on this quite a bit. And I think for the most part, from what I recall, there's been many of the research in this area where they found this. They kind of keep coming back to this and been able to validate it. So let's take a look at this. So basically, what she did in her research is she was looking for what was deemed responsiveness. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, a showing or expression of warmth and nurturing on the part of the caretaker. Okay, she would call that responsiveness. So it was one trait, basically looking at. And discipline, having to do with control and demandingness, again, of the parent. Okay, so looking at these, and what she found that she identified 4 types of parenting styles that related to those 2 dimensions of responsiveness and discipline. Okay. And I think what I did last time, here, I'm going to have to read this. I can't see. I forget I don't have a board in here. Darn it.
There's one behind the...
Oh, is there?
Yeah. Be careful, though.
Be careful? Why?
The thing fell on me.
It attacked JJ this morning.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me just turn this on.
It totally attacked me. Twice. I'm pushing one more time.
Yeah. Let's see if it went in. If I do it now.
It'll beep. Just push it twice.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay. So let's take a look at these. Okay, so you have the dimension of responsiveness, right? And we have discipline, and we have high and low. Okay, so pretty much came up with a grid like this, okay, and just looked at those two dimensions. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to put it up here in a minute, but there's what's deemed a positive parenting style. Okay, and we also call this and as you might expect, it's in the high and high, right? On both of those dimensions. So that's our positive parenting style. Okay. Also called democratic, authoritative. You know, again, there's been additional research and kind of other names that have come out of it. So just so you're familiar with some of the names, because it is in a lot of parenting education classes now, is they really go over these parenting styles because they want parents to identify themselves and then be able to use that as a starting point. Okay, and this is a permissive parent. An engaged parent. And this one is a few different names too. Authoritarian. So where this was authoritative, this is authoritarian. Too bad I didn't have different colors, huh? Or I did have another color. I didn't notice. Dominant. Sometimes the permissive one is indulgent. You might say that they're actually overindulgent. So just take a look at this for a minute, see if it makes sense to you. So again, we said responsiveness was what? What did she mean by responsiveness? The show of what?
Warmth and nurturing.
Warmth and nurturing. Okay. So and then again, just two dimensions here, high and low. Okay. So we have a positive parent who's scoring very high in the dimension of warmth and nurturing, and we have another parent who's, you know, that's not their tendency to be more warmth and nurturing. However, this parent is very high. Remember what discipline? What do we say for discipline? For control and demandingness, right? Okay, so for the use of control and demandingness in the household, you're going to have this parent. Okay. However, the positive parent is also has the control and the demandingness too, along with the nurturing and warmth combined. The permissive parent, also called the indulgent parent, will be very responsive with their child. But as far as control, demandingness, setting limits and structure, very low. And then the unengaged, which is often thought to be sort of the worst of the four, which you can see why, is the low and the low. Okay, so there's no control, demandingness, there's no rules, expectations for the child, no guidelines for the child, as well as no showing of warmth or nurturing. It's just kind of, doesn't seem like they have a parent at all, right? Okay. So this is what came out of her research, and this is largely what we've used in many parent education trainings and workshops, or these 4, and then helping parents to kind of identify where their tendencies lie, which it may not easily lie in one particular quadrant or the other. Not always. Okay, so again, these are categories, but they may have some overlap. So what I want to do is I just want to go around the room and I want to ask you guys, or the team, I should say, instead of you guys, the team, individually, I want to just go around and have you respond to a statement and want to see if you can identify where you think it might lie on the quadrant. Okay, so if you think it's the positive, the permissive, the dominant, or unengaged. Okay? And then afterwards, we're going to talk about, well, what does this mean? Who cares? What does this mean long term? And we'll talk about some of the things that we know about outcomes with these, okay? Because that's even more important, is really what does this mean exactly for the child? Okay, so starting with you, let's start. I believe that it's better not to have rules than to worry about breaking them.
Permissive.
Right. Not all that easy. No. Okay. Children should obey their parents and not talk back.
Dominant.
Children should be given choices.
Should be given choices. I would say positive democratic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you may think that some of these apply to a couple different ones, okay, but there may be one that really sticks out, right? Okay. Children can get along pretty well if you just leave them alone.
Unengaged.
Okay, and lovely. My own problems are so consuming, I don't have time or energy for my child.
Unengaged.
Yeah. JJ, you want one?
Yeah.
Wow, he's so confused. Okay. What I do won't make a difference, so I've given up on my child.
So unengaged.
Yeah, that one's really ridiculous. Sometimes children have a point, and I try to listen to them.
Positive.
Mm-hmm. I make the rules of my household. Children should be punished for not following these rules.
Dominant.
Yeah. And again, we did say that, both dominant and positive have rules, but it's just how they're applied, right? That's the whole idea.